Why do you get so aggressive? Is that what's in your teachings? Actually, it is. See, if you read the book of Deuteronomy, ask any Christian person to give you a summary of the book of Deuteronomy. You know what they're going to say? I haven't read it yet. They're never going to teach you the book of Deuteronomy in Bible study. You're not going to hear any preachers talking about it. In the Bible, where you see the word God, everywhere in the entire Bible where you see God, G-O-D, singular, mistranslation. Go back to the original text. It's God's with an S. They took the S off to bring in the mindset of monotheism, the one God mindset. The one God mindset. That's why Akhenaten was kicked out of Egypt, Pharaoh Akhenaten. He was listening to Amun-Ra, who was one of these gods with an S, lowercase g, by the way, not real gods, not the creator of the universe gods. He told Akhenaten, he demanded that he go around and start defacing all of the other gods of Egypt across anywhere he can reach, his men can reach. He started going around and slashing off the faces, the ears, the nose, chipping away at all the bodies of all the hieroglyphs of any other gods with an S across the land where they ruled. That's why when you go to Egypt, you see everything chipped away in a lot of these tombs and places where there's a lot of glyphs. A lot of it's been chipped away. Anything from the time of Akhenaten, that's how you can date them, they have been damaged. It wasn't because white people didn't know that black people existed in Egypt. That's the ongoing myth. When you look at the date of these things, white people hadn't even appeared in Egypt at the time that these things were already chipped away. They were chipped away by Akhenaten, a black pharaoh. He ordered it to be done. Under his orders from Amun-Ra, also known as Marduk, which is in the Bible and the Jewish Torah. But you won't read that either. You just won't read that. You didn't even know Marduk was in the Bible. But anyway, so he goes around destroying all this stuff, and the people are like, this guy's destroying our history. We got to get him the hell out of here. Akhenaten is actually Moses, the real Moses. That's who Akhenaten was. He had a huge elongated head. His daughters had huge elongated heads, and so did his wife. So he had created this following of people that were believing in his one God mindset that he was ushering in under the rule of Amun-Ra, the Aten, the sun disk. And so when he was kicked out of Egypt, his followers fled with him. And they were free to go as the new Pharaoh allowed them to leave. However, where he messed up was, well, he didn't really mess up, where they got them a lot of them killed. He went into the Great Pyramid and he said, I'm taking the Ark of the Covenant with me. Because the stone box inside of the king's chamber in the Great Pyramid is actually the same exact dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant. And the Ark of the Covenant was technology. It was put there because it generated immense power. We know this because people and universities in America have replicated the Ark of the Covenant based on simple instructions that are in the Bible. And they created so much power, they had to shut them down because they were creating sparks and draining the energy grid and everything else. So this is well-documented information. He took the Ark of the Covenant with him, which turned off the main power source of the Great Pyramid, which turned off the jet pillars, which were used to power wireless electricity around the region. So the Pharaoh said, oh my God, this guy took our power source. Chase him down and get it back. They didn't cross the Red Sea. That's a myth, another myth in the Bible, which has been known for now many, many decades. That's a mistranslation, but they just won't change it. Just live and think it's the Red Sea. He crossed the Sea of Reeds, a much smaller and nearby sea, much easier to cross, by the way. And when you do a geological rewind, we can now do geological rewind. So we can actually do computer simulations, modeled simulations based off of how many years we want to go back in time and tectonic plate movement, and we can calculate which regions had massive earthquakes and in what time periods. And so we come up with the time period of around Akhenaten's fleeing out of Egypt with the Ark of the Covenant crossing the Sea of Reeds. Around that same time period, there's a massive earthquake which can cause a tsunami. What happens with tsunamis? They suck the water directly out of the river, the lake, the stream, or even the shore of an ocean, allowing anyone to walk on dry land for quite some time. I have an amazing one that I posted on Forbidden Knowledge account about 4 or 5 years ago, where people were walking around on dry ocean bed for about a good 3 or 4 hours before the water came back. Then the water comes crashing back and kills a lot of the, the soldiers from the Pharaoh. The Sea of Reeds, guys, not the Red Sea. Let's get it right. Let's start getting the truth out there and not these falsehoods that keep getting